et que li capable et li pa prend moun
Haïti.
le monde dans tout monde qui mépriser Haïti a même propre moun li a mépriser. He's going to take the nation that they call the tourist nation that everyone is traded or says we don't want anything to do with. Even its own, some of its own don't want anything to do with Haiti. Well, that's why God is about to use that and turn it into something awesome, something that you can't even imagine, that beautiful. Bon Dieu pour prendre ça yo rejeté, ça yo les shit hole and li pour prendre, li pour faire tourner en bagage extraordinaire. So, are you ready? Est-ce que est-ce que nous prêts? Nous pourrons entamer pour quelques minutes in this journey. Nous pourrons, we are going to go on to this little journey about, we're going to map the Israelites' passage to Haiti. Nous pourrons mapper route Israélite yo pour Haïti. Comment, because en pile nous attendons, oh, Haïtien c'est Israélite, Haïtien c'est hébreu. Comment ça fait fête? Gagne un monde qui relève aujourd'hui qui dit que ça haute tête, yo pas droite. A lot of people are going, what? Israelites in Haiti, what are you talking about? You must have lost a few scruples. Well, let's go do it. All right, wonderful. Are you ready? All right, we are going to start in AD 70. Nous allons commencer là, après la mort de Jésus, 70. So, là nous tendons dit AD, n'a connaissé après la mort de Jésus, okay? So I will use AD in English AD and French AD so pour nous capable comprendre ça me dit par là. Excusez-moi pour créole moins, c'est parce que presque toute étude moi c'est en anglais, so I'm trying, m'a essayé, so please prends petit patience avec moi, okay? Merci. Okay, we are starting in AD 70. N'a commencé l'an AD 70. Qui ça qui t'est fait l'an AD 70? What happened in AD 70? Well, the Roman Empire was in charge. Eh bien, nous connaissons les, Empire romain était en charge. Et et let up God the statue Daniel la dans Bible. When we are looking at the statue of Nebuchadnezzar, statue Nebuchadnezzar que Daniel t'a interprété, that Daniel interpreted, we are in the leg portion of that statue. Nous l'en portion en jambe nan l'en statue, so parce que c'était empire romain. Okay, so nous connaissons que Rome était en charge. We know that Rome was in charge. And what happened in AD 70? After Jesus left, okay, Jésus était déjà quitté pour le remonter by papa, al joindre papa dans ciel là, and l'était by on warning, te gon prophétie sous Jérusalem qui t'a pas le fait. There was a prophecy on Jerusalem, and so the date wind up ending in AD 70. So what happened then is the temple was burnt. Okay? Nous réaliser que temple te boulé, Romain yo boulé temple bon Dieu. Et qu'on y a un pile juif découragé. A lot of the Jews were discouraged. So what did they do? They started fleeing because they were scared. Un pile hébreu yo couri so parce que yo te peur. So qu'on y a un pile yo they migrated to Europe and Africa. Yo kote yo te kan kou lo lage on bagay puis ravet couri tout côté. That's what c'est ça que te passe juif yo. Les c'est bombe nan tombe et puis yo tout couri y allait en paquet côté, but yon côté yo te couri en pile yo couri c'était en Afrique. So it's just like you drop the bomb and then they scattered everywhere. Just imagine, they ran everywhere because the Romans were after them. And so one of the places that they migrated to was Africa and Europe. So I'm gonna show you the first map of migration. Okay, be a little patient. Kevin is gonna help me here. Okay. the first map of migration. And it's going to be, okay, I'm sharing my screen with you. Je vais montrer nous screen moi. So, nous capable right here. Si nous que you know, nous si nous screen nan pas connaît si nous capable you know, my cursor. Can you see it? Mais nous que you know, mais you know, yo couri, yo rentré you know, en Afrique, yo couri en Afrique, y aller en Europe, ce nous que mais en Espagne, you know, gen qui couri, nous route là qui allait li couri, yo couri en Espagne, yo rentré en Afrique, y aller tout côté yo capable joindre. Mais en pile yo t'allé en n'a pas Spain ou bien Espagne. So, Konya, what happens in Spain? Nous connaissons que Espagne te un monarch. Spain had a monarchy, okay? And there was the Inquisition period from the Catholic Church also. So, the, you know, there was, you know, te gagné Inquisition période de l'Église catholique. Et qu'on y a, you know, Juif yo, tout côté yo passé yo toujours prospéré. Wherever, you know, the Hebrews went, they were always prosperous. So they, you know, they became, you know, well-to-do citizens of Spain. You know, yo te vin a fait bel bagay, you know, en Espagne. So qu'on y a, yo besoin pour yo tout te converti. Le catholique. So they wanted all of them to be converted to Catholicism. And so a lot of them did, pilan yo te converti vrai, but a lot of them refused to get converted. Pilan yo pat vle converti pour yo te vin catholique. So, en bas, under King Ferdinand II and Isabella, and Queen Isabella, okay, en bas, Reine Isabelle avec roi Ferdinand, yo vin fait ça, yo rele Alhambra Decree. Okay, the Alhambra Decree. Qui ça, Alhambra Decree te dit? Li dit quoi ça, c'est soit nous convertis en catholique ou bien nous quitter pays. The Alhambra Decree said, okay, it's either you get converted to Catholicism or you leave the country. The Alhambra Decree was issued on March 31, 1492. Nous connaissons que Alhambra, décret Alhambra, eh bien, il a été fait décret 31 mars 1492. Et il a été bay juif 4 mois pour yo converti catholique ou bien pour yo quitter pays. And they were given 4 months to either get converted to Catholicism or leave Spain. And so a lot of them started finding where they needed to go. A lot of them started running everywhere again. En pilan yo commencé à courir côté pour yo aller, yo quitté toute propriété yo cause yo pas capable prendre ken propriété tout l'argent yo te gagné yo pas capable you know kembe l'argent yo so yo te obligé courir. And so a lot of their monies they couldn't leave with it, so they had to leave it. So as they were running, one of the places that they ran to was Portugal. Yon nan kote yo te kouri ale, c'était you know Portugais, okay? Yo te ale Portugal. So during you know that year when they went and so we are looking at July 31st, 1492. Nap gade konya yo te gen 4 mois, and we look, nou gade c'était you know 31 juillet 1492. Gon lot bagay ki fet en 1492. There's something else that happened in 1492. Do you remember what that was? That was Christopher Columbus left to explore the New World. Christophe Colomb li soti en Espagne pour aller explorer le Nouveau Monde. And let me tell you something. Tem di nou an bagay. Christophe Colomb te supposé quitter, à peu près fin juillet, tout 31 juillet, 1492. Christopher Columbus was supposed to leave around the same time, but history says that he left on August 3rd, 1492. L'histoire dit nous que Christophe Colomb pas quitté exactement 31 juillet, mais il était quitté le 3 août 1492. Et il y a un pile historien qui dit que raison de quitter 3 août 1492 là, c'est parce que tu as gagné en fait juif qui était dans zone ça sur le pas de quitter. So il dit que Christophe Colomb te ça yorele en marrones. So what they said was Christopher Columbus did not leave at the end of July for his excursion. He left on the 3rd of August. It's because there was a Jewish holiday. He didn't want to leave. And a lot of historians say that Christopher Columbus was really a Marrone Jew. What is a Marrones? What is that? Qui ça y est? Eh bien, Marronner, ça y est, c'était juif qui dit yo converti en catholique, mais en réalité, il a pratiqué, belief yo, croyance yo, en bachal. The Marrones, what they were, they got converted to Catholicism, but they were really practicing, their faith, behind closed doors. So they said that, and later on, maybe I can come back with some of my research on what really proved Christopher Columbus to be that. We won't cover that tonight. Et peut-être plus tard, on l'autre jour m'a montré nous qui ça, plus évidence, okay, de Christophe Colomb qui était en juif et qui t'a cherché côté pour aider juif yo al caché. Et ça, c'est un autre l'heure, n'a parlé sous ça. All right. So, next. Un pile juif converti, comme te dit, but un pile te couri, yo parti, yo parti, yo prend bateau, yal tout côté, yo parti, yal Brésil, yal en Inde, yal en Afrique, yal Portugal. A lot of the Jews, they became refugees. They went to India, they went to Brazil, they went to Africa, they went to Portugal. Now, as they migrated to Portugal, pendant y a immigré Portugal, there was King John II. Eh bien, nous te gagné roi Jean le II qui te dit OK, nous met vini ma ban nou asylum. Roi Jean II te dit OK, nous met vini en Portugal et puis ma ban nou asile politique, OK? Asile politique, mais c'est pour nous payer. Quand il y a un pile juif yo te d'accord payer 600 l'argent le ça. A lot of the Jews accepted to pay. Around that time some of them paid like 600 of the money at that time. But what they found out was the asylum was temporary. Ça yo joine c'est yo bayo asile, mais asile était temporaire. So après 8 mois, gouvernement portugais a dit nous pas gain asile encore et puis yo vini pour yo faire tout juif yo tourner esclave. At the end of 8 months, the Portuguese government says, okay, you know what? I no longer give you guys asylum, and wanted to enslave a lot of the Jews in the country. So unless they left. So a lot of the Jews, they started running again. En pilan juvio yo commencé courir encore pour yo sauver. Et just before that, what happened is King, the king took some some historians said more, some less, but about 2,000 children. Li prend à peu près 2,000, ti hébreu yo, li voye yo long il yore le Sao Tome and Principe, qui lan Côte d'Afrique lan. A lot of some people said about 2,000, others said a little bit, less, but they took, about 2,000 of the Hebrew children and sent them to Sao Tome and Principe, which is, two little islands off the coast of Africa. And so we will go over that map in a few minutes. Nous pourrons passer sous map ça tout à l'heure, mais qu'on y a gon bagay, qui fait en 1493, c'est là ça, Jean le 2, li déporté un paquet ti moun juif yo avec juif yo dans Sao Tome qui il dans Afrique là. On va le montrer nous slide ça, OK? Right here. Si nous ouais plus grand ligne, OK, qui courir. Can you see my cursor? OK. So si nous garder mes Portugais là, qu'on y a so plus fort là yo passer, inland ou n'importe côté yo aller, mais là nous garder nous ouais que mes Sao Tome là avec Principe qui sous côte d'Afrique là et c'est là li te voye yo. So qu'on y a un pilan juif yo qui te rentré en Afrique cause nous ouais Jean li très close, un pilan yo talent Afrique nord. A lot of the Hebrews went to North Africa, and this is Portugal right here sending some other Jews, because Sao Tome and Principe is for the Portuguese government. That's who it was for. So nous voyons que Sao Tome avec Principe c'était pour Portugais yo teye. So that's what happened. Now King John II dies in 1494. Qui sa qui passe qu'on y a? Roi Jean II mourit en 1494. So what happens? Manuel I, the new king of Portugal, decrees that all Jews are free now. Qu'on y a gen un nouveau roi qui prend en 1494 qui est Emmanuel le premier. C'est nouveau roi portugais en Portugal qu'on y a li fait un décret que tout juif yo met traité Portugal pas de problème. Now so juif yo content pour ça que traité yo gen pile qui te get en parti rentrer back en Afrique parce que nous connaît comme te dit en AD 70 là en pile juif te get en Afrique et yo te get en établi tête yo établi royaume yo en pile côté l'Afrique là. Like I told you before, 80, 70, a lot of the Hebrews they fled. A lot of the Jews fled and went into Africa already, and a lot of them were established there, there. So now a lot of the Hebrews that were in Spain came back to Africa, okay, and went in. So in 1497, so right now the Jews says, okay, Manuel says you can stay. What happens? 1497, ça passé en 1497. Konya, under pressure from the Catholic Church and Spain, due to the marriage of King Manuel and Princess Isabella, the daughter of Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand of Spain. So now there's a marriage between the two countries. Qui s'est passé konya? Portugal commençait à prendre pression l'emmène ni l'église catholique, OK, parce que il pas persécuté juif yo, ni reine Isabelle avec roi Ferdinand parce que petit yo marié avec roi Manuel Ier. So qu'on y a un mariage en deux pays, qu'on y a reine Isabelle avec roi Ferdinand dit, eh bien, pour expulser juif yo, pour parce que ou marier l'enfant en konya, c'est pour faire ça nous voulons faire avec l'église catholique, persécution rentrer l'an derrière hébreu encore. Now the Hebrews are under persecution again, and so King Manuel had no choice. So guess what? Spain declares that all Jews must be converted to Catholicism or leave the country without any of their children. Qui sa wa Manuel dit qu'on y a, libre fait un décret, c'est tout juif supposé converti dans l'église catholique ou bien et pour bay pays but ou pas capable prendre un ken lan petit tout et pour quitter ti moun yo derrière. Guess what? En pile juif yo couri avec un pile yo get sauvé avec famille but en pile yo quitter ti moun yo derrière vrai aller. A lot of them got they left without their children, and some of them already escaped. So they they left, and a lot of them again got deported by King Manuel to Sao Tome again. En pile yo voye lan Sao Tome encore. Okay, je souhaite que nous suivons. I hope that you are following. Now, something interesting is happening. Remember, Christopher Columbus left in 1492. Songez que Christophe Colomb quittait en 1492. Et pendant Christophe Colomb quittait ça, songez, yon nan pays la leo ce qui côté Haïti. Remember, we're not the countries that, besides all the countries, but one of the countries that he went to was Haiti. And what did he call Haiti? He called Haiti Pearl of the Islands. Li rele Haïti Perle des Antilles. Pour qui ça? Parce que Haïti était plein richesse. Why? Because Haiti was full of wealth and riches, and a lot of gold, a lot of precious things. And so when Christopher Columbus went back to Spain, let Christophe Colomb retourner en Espagne. Remember, one of the things they did, they enslaved the Indians, the Arawak Indians that were on the island. So j'ai que Panyol yo te fait un pile Indien yo tourner esclave, and we know what happened to the Indian slaves. They died off because they weren't used to all this hard work that they were making them do. Songez ça te passe Indien yo, plus fort Indien yo mouri parce que yo pas habitué avec bon travail forcé ça yo y a ba yo fait. But what happened? Queen Isabella dies in 1504. Reine Isabelle mourit 1504. And somebody takes over. Gen yon moun ki take over. That person that takes over is her daughter, okay? Her daughter. So her daughter takes over, Joanne. And Joanna, okay? Joanna replaces her from 1504 to 1555. Joanna remplace Reine Isabelle de 1504 à 1555. Now, and remember who was reigning over Portugal? King Manuel. Qui est-ce qui t'a régné en Portugal? Okay, c'était Roi Manuel. And he reigned in Portugal from 1495 to 1521. Et Roi Manuel régnait en Portugal de 1495 to 1521. So now, what is happening? Qui ça qu'a passé? The Indians died in Haiti. Who is going to do the work? Indien yo mouri Haïti, qui est-ce qui peut faire travail là? Songez, yo connaît qui côté hébreu yo ale, yo connaît hébreu c'est moun qui travaille dur et yo gen force. Remember, where did the Hebrews go? They know where to go get the Hebrews. So where did they go? And we know the Queen of Spain goes to Africa, sends And King Manuel, okay, remember the Spaniards and the Portuguese, okay, where did they go? They went to West Africa for them to bring the first slaves to the New World. Songe, qui kote yale en Afrique, yo konen kote hébreu ye, qui sa yal fait là? Yal cherche esclave yo. So we have, okay, and the first slave ship arrives in Haiti in 1517 with 15,000 slaves. So nous gagnons premier bateau esclave qui sorti en Afrique, qui rentrait en Haïti en 1517. Nous gagnons 15,000 esclaves. Now, let's chat a little bit. We know that something that is, well, I know of the Haitians, okay? Nous connaissons de Haïtiens. What do we do? I don't care if, you know, qui sa Haïtien aimé. Même si Haïtien docteur, li avocat, Haïtien toujours gon ti business tout côté. Even if they may be doctors, they may be lawyers, Haitians always have a little business on the side. We are entrepreneurs by, it's in our blood. Nous connaissons que Haïtien c'est entrepreneur yoye, you know, l'ensemble nous. So depuis nous arrivons au côté, nous toujours à take over. Every time we get somewhere, we usually, you know, we're in business, we do whatever we need to do. We're a very progressive people. Nous sommes un peuple qui est très progressif. So, là nous arrivons en Afrique. Qui ça nous, you know, what happened there? Qui ça qui passait en Afrique? First of all, nous, you know, n'a progressé cause en pile, you know, merchants ou bien les marchands, c'est ça? You know, en pile là, nous remet côte là. So, parce que, you know, get business et nous remet congregate ensemble et nous remet, and we like to congregate together. So, genyen on bagay que nous toujours tande depuis m'piti. I have heard this since I was a little girl, and I always wondered what that means. It was depuis l'Guinée, nèg ray nèg. It was from Guinea, you know, it's like, you know, men hate men. So I always wondered what that was. So, la recherche que me fait and the research that I made, I found out that a lot of the Africans resented a lot of the Hebrews that had migrated there years before. M'tande que te gen pile Africain qui pas très aimé, qui te anti gens ennuyé avec hébreu yo te vini qui te immigré là-bas parce que you know yo te cover yo gen plus succès bagay sa yo. So, ça, in my research, et la recherche, moi, ça m'a joint, un peu l'historien dit comme ça que, eh bien, Africains, yo tap van hébreu. So, it was like the Africans were selling a lot of the Hebrews as you know, in the slave trade. So, I was like, that's interesting. Eh bien, m'te dit, ça, un petit genre intriguant avec intéressant. And so let's look to see what happens. So, et pour ça, regardez, slave trade là te concentré dans yon zone en Afrique. If you look, the slave trade was concentrated in one main area in Africa. Let's go and see what that map says. On a regardé pour nous sa map ça dit. Okay, the next map. So, n'a regardé que plus fort. OK? So, n'a regardé que là, nous voyons que Israélites ont immigré de Israël, ils ont rentré en Égypte, de Égypte, ils ont rentré dans West Africa, gagné qui allait Yémen, qui allait Éthiopie, qui allait South Africa, et pour ça, nous regardons the Lemba tribe qui spread tout côté ça, en pile, qui dit c'est hébreu, okay? We see that the Israelites, one of their migration routes was Israel to Egypt and to West Africa, and also and to the other side, and to Yemen and to Ethiopia and South Africa. And from there, it went to the Caribbean, okay, so here's West Africa right here, to the Caribbean, to South America, and to North America. Nous gardons que nous ouais que esclave yo te sorti lan plus fort, c'est lan West Afrique lan yo sorti, yo y a lan Caraïbes lan, y a l'Amérique du Nord et y a lan Amérique du Sud. But I want to show you something. Je voulais montrer nous un bagay. Okay, so n'a gardé au côté l'an Afrique lan qui relè Waida. N'a gardé we're going to look and see au côté l'an africain qui relè Waida or Juda in French it's Wida, en français c'est Wida, in Portuguese it's Ayuda, en portugais c'est Ayuda, okay? So côté ça, c'était l'Afrique et c'est là il prend presque tout esclave qui rentrait en Haïti, premier esclave, tout c'est là yo sorti l'en Waida. Most of the slaves that went into the Caribbean, remember the Caribbean slaves came from before and the early 1500s and all the way in the 1500s. Most of them came from that kingdom of Waida. Now, why do I say that? Because we will see the next slide. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so if you see right here, okay, this is, the Jews entered Africa, and this is the roads that they came out. So look, it's mostly this side of Africa that, that was on the coastline. And we'll see that right here, okay, et nous ouais que là, si nous regardons, nous plus ouais, c'est, Afrique, the coastline, but c'est la côte là, la côte Afrique de l'Ouest que plus fort yo sorti, but pour moun qui plus sorti pour y aller en Haïti, c'est là yo sorti et puis là nous garder si nous suivre ligne rouge là pour yo rentrer Saint-Domingue, OK? So nous ouais plus fort esclavio parce que c'est Saint-Domingue qui t'a mené les ça, Haïti qui t'a mené parce que te gen en pile travail. So we will see that on the coast of Benin, but let's look we're going to look more to see. So we about the kingdom of Waida. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay. Where's the one before that? That shows the kingdoms. Yes. Okay. Si nous were right here, okay, ça c'est map 1737. This is a map of 1737, a map of Africa, and there we see Judah, the kingdom of Judah, which is right here, in West Africa, where this whole thing of Guinea, right here, this is, and that kingdom that most of the slaves that they first started taking were going into the West Indies. So nous gardons que nous c'est là, beaucoup de kingdom Judah, Judah or Waida, and you know what they said? For them to excuse the name, they said that the Waida was named after a bird called Waida. So, yo dit que c'était un nom Judas, c'était un nom qui était pour un oiseau. But si c'était pour un oiseau, t'arrêtais Waida, why change the name? If si c'était un oiseau que t'es Waida, eh bien tout le monde t'a pris les côtés en Waida. But chaque monde relève on different nom. Everyone called it a different name. Some called it Waida, some call it Judah, some call it Ayuda, which meant the same thing for Judah and their languages. So this is where, this is map 1737, okay? Map where most of the slaves were being taken out of. We also see Dahomey right here. What does Dahomey mean? Kisa Dahomey signifie? Dahomey signifie the house of Dan. Kai Dan qui était yon l'entribu Israélite tout. So we'll go to the next map. Okay, so now look, this is a map of Africa 1747. Konya sa son map Afrique 1747. Right here, the slave coast. Okay, kingdom again of Judah. Que la plus fort esclave yo sorti, ya pran yo pour yo mener pour yo mener lan West Indies lan. We see that, right here off that coast, where it said, where it was called Wida, this is where most of the slaves, in the early parts of 1500 and all of that, a lot of them, they came from there. And this place became so popular, place ça vin si tellement populaire que pan yo met headquarters yo là. Français yo met headquarters yo là. Anglais yo met headquarters yo là. This place became so popular that the English put their headquarters there, the French put their headquarters there, and the Spaniards. So this was where they were like, sucking a lot of the slaves from all this area, but this port right here. So now this is a map of Africa 1747. Okay. And the kingdom, okay, of Benin, even in Haiti, we know, they talk about Guinea, en Haïti, nous parlons de Guinée, eh c'est toute zone ça, qui était zone, Juda, okay, and all of that. Okay, we're gonna go the next slide. Okay. So let nous garder, when we look right here, this is a map again of Africa now in 1790. Ça son map d'Afrique 1790 of West Africa. And I want you to see this right here. This is the port of Wida. Ça c'est port Wida côté en pile moun ap soti pou y aller en esclavage. And what is there in that area is the door of no return. Qui sa qui la dans zone ça tout, c'est la porte que pour passer que ou pas bi regarder derrière. And one of the things I want to show you what God said in the Bible, ça bon Dieu dit dans Bible, L'an Deutéronome 28, verset 68, and Deuteronomy 28, verse 68, the Bible says that, the curses that was there was, if you go and take the gods of other people and you leave me, sou kitem, wal prend Dieu, l'autre côté, moi meto yo côté wale yo, eh bien, on pral for retourner en Egypt. I'm gonna make you return in Egypt. And in the Bible, we know Egypt a lot of time means slavery. Et nous connaissons que les yo parle de Egypte, dans Bible, li signifie esclavage. Et l'an Deutéronome 28, 68, il dit comme ça que l'on pour aller en Égypte, c'est l'en bateau pour aller et m'a menon côté pape même gen moun pour acheter. And what it said in the Bible in Deuteronomy 28, 68 is, you will go to Egypt in ships and no one will be there to buy you. What does that mean? Qui ça veut dire? Tem di nous ça veut dire. Les yo te kon a vend esclave, when they used to sell slaves, if for example, if you're selling me, if you're my owner and you're selling me, si wa vend moi, eh bien gen un moun ki kampe la ki di OK, m'a pas acheté Junon et puis moi lage Junon. Okay, somebody might say, okay, I'm gonna buy Junon and I'm gonna let her go. But the Bible says that when you get to this foreign land, no one will be there to buy you. Pa gen moun kap la pou yo achete. So c'est ça qui arrive vrai. Pas gen moun qui te pour acheter en ken esclave yo pour buy yo la liberté parce que c'est rentrer dans l'esclavage. And there was no one there to buy the slaves. Everyone had to go into slavery. So what we, from there, then they kept bringing the slaves, on this route. De là, yo continué à mener, esclavio, l'an West Indian en Afrique. And we know that the first slaves came to America, to the United States. Nous connaissons que premier esclavio vin l'an États-Unis en août 1619. We know that the first slaves came to the United States in August of 1619, which is 102 years later than the first slaves went to Haiti. Que nous connaissons que c'est 102 ans après premier esclave yo t'est arrivé en Haïti. So parce que what happened? Well, the new world, they said, well, we need slaves too because we need to work the land. So let's go get some slaves in Africa too. Look what the French are prospering and Saint-Domingue. So nous, nous gade yo bon moun ki te genye te, the rich landowners, moun ki te gen pile te l'argent l'an États-Unis, yo di well nous besoin moun pour travailler te nous tout. So on al prend esclave en Afrique tout pour nous vinn mener yo ici pour yo travail pour nous. So c'est comme ça esclaves qui vini ici yo were much later, yo te vini plus tard que ça qui t'allait en Haïti. And that's how we know that those that went that came to the United States was 102 years later than those that, than the first ships that went to Haiti. Or something that I want to tell you that we know that the Catholic Church and the Portuguese and the Spaniards were after the Hebrews in Africa. Yon bagay que nous connaît, nous réaliser que, ni l'Église catholique, ni Portugais yo, ni Espagnol yo te landeye Hébreu yo, because as soon as the slaves got to Haiti, depuis esclaves yo te rive en Haïti, l'Église catholique te bay met esclaves yo 8 jours pour yo baptiser tout esclave pour yo faire yo tourner catholique. The Catholic Church gave the slave owners gave them 8 days to make sure that all slaves became Catholics. Does that sound familiar with the Spaniards and the Portuguese? Est-ce que ça pas familier pour ça nous tende yo? So l'église catholique avec Portugais avec ni espagnol yo te besoin pour depuis esclave yo, depuis hébreu yo rive, depuis noir yo rive lan île c'est Haïti moi faire plus recherche et pour yo te ba yo 8 jours pour yo converti catholique ou bien yo pas met esclave yo l'en problème. They gave them 8 days to be converted to Catholicism or they would be in trouble. Another thing that I want to reiterate here, okay, on l'autre bagay que moi vle di nou, c'est que when the slaves went to Haiti, les esclaves yo tal Haiti, what did they use to meet? It was the conch. Ki sa yo te use? They used the it's a big how do you I forgot the name in English, but it's a big shell, and that's how the slaves used to meet, and it sounds just like the shofar. Et li genyen même son avec shofar que hébreu te kon relé pour yo rencontrer. Okay, so gen pile bagay. We'll talk about these later, but I just wanted to show you the route and where they were getting the slaves and why they were getting the slaves. M'te vle seulement montrer nous pour qui ça qui côté yo tal pour esclave et pour qui ça yo tal pour esclave yo c'est persécuté yo ta persécuté yo. And when they took the Negroes to come to the New World, les yo prend esclaves yo pour venir dans nouveau monde là, okay, or to go to the West Indies, what did they do to them? Ki sa yo te fe yo? They put them in ships they put them where they couldn't tell the time, they couldn't tell the days. Yo mette yo en bas bateau pour yo pas di ou pour yo pas ouais ni jour ni nuit. And remember, for Haitians, okay, for those of you who know about my Haitian people, they will look at the sun and tell you what time it is. Yap gade soleil lan, yap di ou ki lè liye. They will look at the moon in the sky and tell you what time it is and what, so yap gade la lune nan lan ciel lan, yap di ou ki lè liye. okay? My dad used to tell me, you know, maman leve you know, li gade la lune dil 3 heures du matin. My dad used to tell me his mom would get up and look at the moon and said, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. So they took them under the ship, so they didn't know what day or time it was. Yo mette yon babaton pou yo pat kon ni jou ni le pou yo, because ou konnen pou un hébreu littéralement men sa bali littéralement parce que you know, pile lan yo malgré yo tap adoré faux Dieu, but en pile lan yo te kembe coutume sa ba yo avec l'Éternel. A lot of the Hebrews, you know, even though they were worshiping, some of them were worshiping other gods, and that's why God got so upset, but they kept some of the, you know, of their traditions, which was the Sabbath, and they took that away from them by keeping them down. So when they arose from the ship, they didn't know what day, what time it was. So le yo leve, yo soti lan baton, yo pa kon ki jou, ki le liye, yo pa kon combien temps yo fan ba baton. So yo pa ka konnen ki jou liye pou yo observer jou saba que met yo te, you know, que yo te kon observer avec bon Dieu. So anyways, we are going to end there. I just wanted to show you the, you know, the road from Africa to Haiti, you know, and from Israel and the Israelites and all of that, and how we winded up in Haiti. They seulement voulaient montrer nous comment nous sorti de côté nous et côté nous rive, you know, Jean nous qu'on y a. Now, the Europeans saw how it was liquid. And let me tell you, the people that they were enslaving, they weren't common people. They were doctors, they were merchants, they were educated people. Okay, en pile moun que yo tap kon yo, c'est pas moun qui pat kon li, c'était des moun qui te ken business yo, qui te you know, it was people that were used to wealth avec qui te gen la vie, and c'est pour ça yo pas capable accepter le fait pour yo faire yo esclave là. And that's why they could not take the fact that they were slaves. Suddenly those people from, you know, from where we saw in Wida. And that's why the first slave revolt in Haiti was in 1525. Premier revolt esclave en Haïti, c'était 1525. Yo te get an pran yo, but depuis le sa gen nèg maron en Haïti. Since that time, 1525, they were what they call the Maroons in Haiti. They were living in the hills and planning to overthrow the people who enslaved them. Depuis 1625, te gen nèg maron ka vive lan tout monde en Haïti. You know, qui t'a planifié pour yo rejeter moun qui, you know, qui fait yo tourner esclave là. Okay? So now the Europeans saw liquidity, and this is why you know, they were like, this is it. We're going to take those black people and bring them here and enslave them. C'est pour ça yo vin di, okay, we're gonna go do that. Now I want to show you the next map so you can understand what we are talking about. And it's about time that we stand up and we turn back to God, because we can't fight, but God can fight. Nous pas cap bataille, but l'Éternel capable bataille. Et l'Éternel bataille, l'Éternel a pété fiel quelqu'un moun sa yo. You know, when God fights and he wins. And I want to show you the next map. The next map about what they did to Africa, how they divided. Right here, I want to show you. Remember that, and that's another lecture that I will do. Ça son l'autre lecture que m'gen pour me faire avec nous, pour montrer nous que Haïti en dans Bible et pour qui ça Haïti persécuté comme ça. You know, Satan besoin prend Haïti dans l'Éternel, but l'Éternel dit sans effet la prend Haïti back dans Satan au nom de Jésus. You know, the next lecture, one of the next lectures, I'm going to show you that Haiti is in the Bible and why that you know, why the devil is after Haiti so much to destroy Haiti, but God is taking Haiti back, whether you like it or not. God is about to free Haiti in the name of Jesus. And I'm going to show you, look at what they did to Africa. You know, I want to show you because when you look at in the Bible, the last 10 toes at the end of the Roman Empire, the 10 toes that are left are 10 European kingdoms. L'autre statue, not Daniel's statue, Nebuchadnezzar's statue and Daniel's time, okay? Pas parler statue Daniel, on m'a parlé de statue Nebuchadnezzar, l'an dernier, yo c'était gen 10, et c'était, l'an Bible, li dit nous c'est 10 royaumes qui étaient l'enfin, européen yo. Et let's look at how they divided Africa. On regarde gens yo divisé Afrique. Si nous there were 10 kingdoms, but remember the Catholic Church got rid of 3 of them because they did not want the Catholics to rule over them. Songez que l'église te gen 10 royaumes, but l'église catholique rejeté 3 ans, yo li fait yo disparaître que parce que yo pas d'accord avec lui. So gagne 7 qui rete, and let's look at the 7. The 7 is right here. Belgium, Swiss, British, qui est anglais, okay? We'll go over. The Swiss is the Burgundians, okay? From the kingdoms. M'pa connaît tout non ça yo en français ou bien créole, but n'a comprendre yo quand même, okay? But Belgium c'est Suisse, okay? Qui Burgundians, okay? The British, okay, qui les Anglais, c'était les the Saxons, okay, the Saxons. Then we have the French, okay, that are the nous gen français yo qui les Franks, okay, the Franks. Then we have Germans, okay, nous gen les Allemands qui the Allemands is the Allemagne. Okay, les Allemands c'est Allemagne. Nous gagnons les Italiens. We have the Italians, or we have les Italiens. Que les Italiens sont les where are you Italians? Lombards. Okay, qui sont the Lombards. We have the Portuguese. Nous gagnons les Portugais. Les Portugais sont the Swabies. Okay, nous gagnons the Spaniards, nous gagnons les Espagnols, qui les Visigoths, okay, qui sont les Visigoths, et nous gagnons, nous gagnons ça, c'est 7 royaumes qui étaient le royaume Europe. These are the 7 kingdoms left in the European kingdoms. And guess what? They divided Africa, and it's all color coordinated. Yo divisé Afrique. Si nous ouais français yo gen un paquet là Afrique, et puis nous gagne seul monde seul ça qui indépendant là Afrique là, c'est Ethiopie. The only one that is independent that's independent right here is Ethiopia. After that, all of them have the influence from the Italians in Libya to the British and Sudan, Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, and we have the Germans right here, which is and in East Africa. And so as you see, you're divisé Afrique pour your pied. As you see, they have divided Africa right here. And so, guys, this fight is not ours, it's God's fight. Bataille ça pas pour nous, c'est pour l'Éternel. And so, as they make blacks feel like we are stupid and we are no good, we are a bunch of low life. Même Jean yo fait nous paraître comme des noirs qui pas gain rien, qui pas bagay, nous pas réaliser comme des noirs que que pied yo sous nous pour nous pas respirer. What we don't realize is that these superpowers, they have their knees on our necks and we cannot breathe. Yo genyen pied sous nous pour nous pas respirer. And if you know and you can do the research, si nous besoin connaître, nous capable faire recherche là, one of the reasons Haiti is a shithole country, raison que Haïti son pays y aurait les shithole is because the needs of the of these colonial powers, the genou pouvoir colonial so sous coup Haïti, you know, these you know, colonial powers, their knees on Haiti's neck to break its neck. Pour yo casser ko Haïti, pour yo montrer que Haïti pas cap gouverner, un black country cannot govern itself. Pour yo montrer que un pays noir pas cap gouverner tête li. So they have entered into all our business to destroy the country. Yo rentre dans tout business li pour destroy the country. But let me tell you something tonight. Tem di nou an bagay aswaya. Haïti pas péri au nom de Jésus. Let me tell you something. Haiti will not be destroyed in the name of Jesus because God is claiming Haiti back. Haïti, l'Éternel a réclamé, Eli le pour Haïtien levé pour yo retourner by l'Éternel. Haitians, it is time for you to get back to God. And not only Haitians, but the black race. We need to go back to God and tell God we are surrendering. You take the fight like he did fight for Israel, and he will fight for us. Et même je l'Éternel te bataille pour Israël. Eh bien, c'est pour nous camper, pour nous dire l'Éternel, prends bataille là pour nous, pour capable craser dans tout monde ça yo cap empêcher nous respirer. And so tonight, I leave you with this thought. I swear, m'a quitté nous avec pensée ça. You decide, ou même qui pour décider qui est nous yé. You know, you must decide who we are based on the evidence. You know, avec Sam saute montre nous là et pour nous décider qui est nous quoi nous yé. Est-ce que nous prêts pour nous retourner by l'Éternel? Are you ready to go back to God? All I can do is tell you, and then you make your decision and you go do your own research. Ça vous capable faire seulement c'est dis nous, you know, évidence là, et puis nous-mêmes à faire recherche par nous pour nous connaître. Au lieu pour nous prêter, you know, chamailler. It is time for us to unite with God and with each other. You know, c'est l'heure pour nous-mêmes, pour nous retourner, pour nous unir avec l'Éternel et avec yon l'autre. Tout temps, nous pas capables, nous pas unis avec l'Éternel, nous pas capables unis yon à l'autre. If we do not, you know, join hands with God, we cannot unite together because God is the glue who is going to help, who is going to deliver Haiti. C'est l'Éternel qui va délivrer Haïti. So we just need to be ready to join hands together. Nous besoin pour nous mettre main ensemble together. Et t'aime dit nous, fois ça, you're pas capable to ye bébé. Let me tell you, this time they cannot kill the child. They can kill me, but they cannot kill the child of deliverance for Haiti. You can tuer, but you're pas capable to tuer deliverance Haïti because the time has arrived. T'aimes dit nous que l'heure est arrivée pour délivrance Haïti en fait. C'est soit ou mettez mélan patte là pour faire partie de délivrance là, ou mettez corps sous côté pour l'Éternel passer. It's either you become part of the solution, you join hands together to deliver Haiti, or put yourself on the side for God to come through. Because if you are in his way, he is going to roll over you. Sous la route l'Éternel, la passer sous avec un rouleau compresseur. So it's time that you and I make the decision to join hands. Il est pour nous mettre nous ensemble, for us to start betraying each other and allowing them to kill us. C'est l'heure pour nous suspendre, trahir l'autre, pour nous quitter, tuer nous, au lieu pour nous mettre main en main l'Éternel, pour nous gagner victoire là. It's time that we put our hands in God's hand for us to have the victory. We cannot have this victory by ourselves, but with God we can. Because I can do all things to Christ who gives me strength. Nous pas capables de victoire pour contre nous, mais je puis tout par celui qui me fortifie. Et moun sa ka fortifie maintenant, c'est l'Éternel désormais. So we need to get going, guys. The time has arrived. L'heure est arrivée. So, mais que bon Dieu bénisse nous. May God bless you. And I am waiting. I am ready m'attend et moins prêt pour nouvel Haïti. Que bon Dieu bénisse nous. May God bless you. Bye bye.